GTA 3 is considered one of the most controversial yet influential games of the 21st century, and it took the gaming industry by storm. It was the first 3D GTA game. So let's find out about the controversial rise of the 3D universe of the GTA games. This is the second installment of the trilogy of videos on GTA's controversial rise. In the first part, I cover the beginnings of GTA, namely GTA 1 and GTA 2, and in today's video, we shall explore GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and all other games that belong to the 3D universe of Grand Theft Auto. The year was 1999. GTA 2 was released to a wide reception. The developers subsequently wanted to follow it up with another, but not quite the same. They did not want to deliver another game in 2D now, as other studios were bringing out 3D games, such as Super Mario 64, which came out in 1996, Legend of Zelda 1998, Midtown Madness 1999, and in 2000, Driver 2. Admittedly, a number of 3D open-world games had been released prior to GTA 3. Take-Two Studios had even acquired Midtown Madness's developer, renaming it Rockstar San Diego. It would go on to develop the Midnight Club and RDR series of games. At the time, they were largely impressed with games such as Super Mario 64 and thus decided to transform the GTA world into 3D. Incidentally, producer Sam Houser had always wished for the series to be made in 3D. Because wouldn't it be great to actually live the thug life? The Sam and Dan brother duo had been crime movie enthusiasts since they were young. They attempted to test run in 3D, developing a prototype for Dreamcast consoles. GTA 3 had a distinct advantage over other games of the period. The Sony PS2 had just come out and supported DVDs. A CD could not possibly fit all the animation, music, and environment of a 3D open-world game, but a DVD would suffice. It was the perfect opportunity and they swung at it. Even then, there were issues running games on the platform with only 32 megabytes of memory. Yes, you heard that correctly, 32 megabytes of RAM. The project was undertaken by a team of 23 at DMA Design, or the revamped Rockstar North, which included the Houser brothers and Leslie Benzies. It was going to be published by Rockstar Games, a subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive based in New York. Development began with a focus on designing a living city like New York. The word living implied a simulation where pedestrians roamed about and cars moved around, giving the impression that it had actual residents. Sam Houser commented that he wanted to create a fusion of gangster movies and RPGs, and in Leslie's words, they were bringing a crime simulation game. The storyline drew inspiration from The Sopranos and Miami Vice. Since working in 3D was a first for the developers, they faced a lot of challenges. For instance, they had to use motion capture for the cutscenes. Voice acting was not up to par, all assets within the game needed to be modeled in 3D, and characters could not be realistically animated getting into a car's seat. All these hiccups caused them to strip away a lot of features, such as online mode and even voiceover for the protagonist, Cloud. Working on the radio stations within the game, they met with Laszlo Jones, who worked as a professional radio host. This culminated in his unique radio station, and going ahead in the series, he evolved as an important character as well. His friends, and even his own father, lent their voices to the radio station. The game was set for release, but due to 9/11, they had to tweak a few elements, such as the color theme for police vehicles, which was set aside from the original. A game mission involving terrorists was removed, and flight paths for aeroplanes were rerouted so they did not draw near any skyscrapers. These pushed back the release to October 2001. Word aside, Rockstar Games had approached Microsoft prior to release, seeking an exclusive partner agreement, but the latter turned them down, saying the game was not meant for kids and unlikely to succeed. Ironically, the game received critical acclaim, with reviewers calling it innovative, brilliant, and a technological marvel. With no time, it became the best-selling game of the year. And yeah, it's a GTA game, so there had to be controversies. Publications described it as the most offensive game of the year. Some pointed out that it allowed players to commit crimes and respawn upon dying, which was far from reality. Add to these utter disregard for law enforcement, an unsavory attitude towards women, and several other aspects that were subject to criticism. Leslie and the Houser brothers put aside such concerns, adding that one shouldn't take a video game too seriously, because it's meant only to entertain. But afterward, a ban by the Australian government prompted developers to censor some content. In 2003, actual crimes took place inspired by GTA 3. whereupon the families of victims sued Rockstar Games. Representing them was Jack Thompson, who made it his life's mission to decry the GTA series. But no matter what, GTA 3 earned a legacy, as it's considered to be one of the most important games that led to the popularity of open-world sandbox genre. Games like Driver 2 did appear earlier, but they could not leave as much of a mark as GTA 3 did. Following on its heels, a number of similar games came out, which are often dubbed GTA clones in modern times. Among the notable series are Mafia, The Getaway, True Crime, Saints Row, and Watch Dogs. This list even includes Crackdown, which was designed by GTA creator David Jones himself. To this day, GTA 3 is deemed revolutionary by industry experts. The founder of Insomniac Games, better known for creating the Spider-Man games, said that he couldn't believe that you could do so much in GTA 3. And undoubtedly, the best was that you could hijack and ride in any car you liked. You might know Todd Howard as the executive producer at Bethesda, the studio that gave us Skyrim. He famously quipped, "A great game is one that people fail at trying to copy." As such, GTA could surely claim a spot for itself. Prior to it, video games were supposedly for kids, but GTA 3 changed the status quo. Dan Houser remarked that GTA heralded the dawn of crime games, since no studio would risk creating one before its phenomenal success. After a successful launch on the PS2, GTA 3 was released for Windows as well, and the team had now increased to 50 members. They were planning a new mission pack for the game, but later decided to release it as a standalone game, which was titled Vice City. It was supposed to be a whole lot different, with buildings one could enter, and a world built upon the real-life city of Miami, where there was constant partying. So the development team visited Miami to scout actual locations and even watched Scarface and Miami Vice regularly in order to capture the pulse of the city. To lend voice to its protagonist, Tommy, Hollywood star Ray Liotta, who had played a mobster in the movie Goodfellas, was chosen. The game shone upon release, with Metacritic rating it 95 out of 100. Reviewers praised its music, player avatar, and open world, and found the game to be much better than its predecessor. Soon enough, it had become the best-selling game of 2002, with GTA 3 trailing in second place. Admittedly, controversy followed its success. Notwithstanding the blatant crime and irrelevance towards women, it now had players inciting a turf war within the game between Cuban and Haitian gangs. This drew criticism from both ethnic groups in real life, and Rockstar had to make a few changes, and actual murders were taking place in connection with the game. For instance, when an accused lost his grip on reality and went on a rampage, killing uninformed officers before making off with their vehicle, or when a defendant cited obsession with the game as an incentive to murder his entire family. The nature of the game was also called into question in all these trials, and Jack Thompson was aggressively pursuing his agenda to shut GTA down. Shortly after the release of Vice City, the company took up San Andreas. Constructing Vice City had been an uphill task within a time frame of 9 months and had led to serious burnout. Add to that, the company now has its developers working on their next game, which had a time frame of 1 year. But the amount of work was manifold as the scale got so much larger. As a result, many left the studio. Yet, work went on, and with every addition the budget swelled. For example, Vice City took $5 million to make, and for San Andreas, funds amounting to $10 million had been allocated. The game would feature 3 cities on 3 times as large a world. Not only the size, but also the outlook of each city were designed uniquely to lend diversity to play the game. Mechanics allowing gamers to climb onto building rooftops were incorporated to offer greater exploration. Different terrain and landscapes, such as hills, deserts, forests, and mountains, were added to the open world to make it more interesting. A multiplayer option was introduced wherein 2 players could team up to go on rampage missions, taking a page from the real world. The feud between street gangs, Bloods, and Crips appeared in the game as Grove Street and Ballers. The storyline borrowed from real-life chapters in the 1990s, such as the cocaine epidemic, the 1992 riots, gang wars, and police corruption, lending more focus to the hip-hop scene. Developers introduced rappers to this edition of the game. It again went on to become a bestseller upon release in 2004. It outshone its predecessors in every aspect, whether it be story, the missions, the gameplay mechanics, driving, and open world, or anything else for that matter. San Andreas is hailed as the greatest in its genre, and some even consider it to be the finest GTA game to date. Reviewers shower it with a 9.9 or even a perfect 10 rating, which is usually reserved for a near-perfect game. Then again, controversies had scaled up, keeping up with the games. Nah, Violence and misogyny had become common threads by this time. The real notoriety came from including a hot coffee mod discreetly with game files. It allowed players to view mature scenes that otherwise could not be accommodated within the game. This drew flack from major American bureaucrats, and rating bodies classified it as adult. Eventually, Rockstar Games brought out a cold coffee patch, whereupon several physical copies of the game were recalled and replaced. On the day of the launch of San Andreas, GTA Advance was released on Game Boy Advance consoles as well. These were significantly weaker and the game had to be tailored in 2D. Consequently, cutscene animations, pedestrians, dialogue and radio stations were all left out, and the storyline took off in Liberty City, a year before the events of GTA 3. The game received decent reviews, but could not reach a wider audience on account of being exclusive to Game Boy consoles. It had not been developed by Rockstar North, but by Digital Eclipse. In 2005, Rockstar North and Rockstar Leeds collaborated to release GTA Liberty City Stories. It was made exclusively available on the PSP and was the first of the GTA games to be customized for handheld consoles. A prequel to GTA 3, the story was based in Liberty City. Many assumed the 2005 game would be better than San Andreas, which was released a year earlier. But they were disappointed. The game earned modest reviews and was not much of an extraordinary experience. However, it proved to be a commercial success. Selling 8 million copies, it became the best-selling game on the PSP, and later came out on mobile phones as well. Another spin-off to the game was released in 2006, titled GTA Vice City Stories, and this one was a prequel to Vice City. It featured a familiar city with some improved mechanics. Additionally, an empire-building system was patched in, wherein players had to take over and expand establishments run by rival gangs, and it increased the income from in-game currency. It was a subsequent new addition, much appreciated by players. Like the previous edition, it also had a 6-player multiplayer mode. The game received good reviews and sold 4.5 million copies. Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories could not match the success of GTA 3, because they were developed by Rockstar Leeds, whereas Rockstar North was occupied with bigger things. One among them, apparently, was GTA 4, which broke ground as yet another revolutionary game, but it belongs to the HD universe of GTA games, which we hope to explore in the concluding part of this trilogy, wherein we shall also discuss GTA 5, Chinatown Wars, and GTA Online. If you missed the exciting first episode of the 2D universe, check the video to the left, and the finale, when ready, should appear on the right. If you enjoyed this video, add a like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Till then, adios.